Good morning, everyone. Today it's February 19th, Saturday, few minutes past 11 a.m. and now I'm back in, not sure if you can see, Yuen Long Town East Community Hall to get the the PCR COVID-19 test before my flight to Sydney, Australia. Yes, I am flying back to continue my studies. So one of the requirements to board the flight, regardless of to anywhere in Australia, it's to get a PCR test 3 days before the flight. So today it's February 19th, Saturday. That means I will fly back from Hong Kong to Sydney on February 22nd. That is Tuesday. So you need to do PCR test 3 days before the flight. So that's one of the requirements. There are several other requirements in order to be eligible to fly back from basically anywhere to anywhere in Australia, such as in my case Sydney. So PCR test 3 days before the flight is one of them. I will explain more later in the video or in my post, so be sure to follow not only YouTube but also mainly Facebook and Instagram, as I did not book for the PCR test because it's very hard to book, and basically the coming few days is already full of booking, even though you need to line up for those walk-ins. As you can see, I think almost 100 from the beginning, and you will need to, actually I am lining up for the afternoon quotas, which will be distributed from 2 p.m, which means I will have to wait for around 3.5 more hours, and that's still not yet the end of the line. Not sure if you can see, it's a bit rainy out here and a bit cool as well, because the temperature will drop over the weekend. Yes, so I will show more, hopefully more later in the video. So yes, stay tuned. Now few minutes past 12 noon, 2-ish hours more to go to line up for the afternoon whatever quota, and now some of us, such as me, are allowed to stand inside so that don't need to be bothered by the rain. The next day, well, today is February 20th, Sunday. Thankfully, I tested negative to COVID-19 in terms of the PCR. That means I can board the flight, which is in 2 days' time, February 22nd, Tuesday, from Hong Kong here back to Sydney, Australia. I'm a bit surprised that the test result came out that quickly, because I heard some of my friends from my friends' experience or so, they need to take like more than a couple of days to get the, even though negative, result back. But because for me it's for travel purposes, basically from anywhere around the world, before you board the flight to anywhere in Australia, international flight, you need to show proof of negative COVID-19 test. One way is 3 days before the flight. So my flight is on February 22nd, Tuesday, and I did the test 3 days ago, February 19th of Saturday, the COVID-19 PCR test, and it is negative, and it's self-paid though, 240 Hong Kong dollars. So here I'll talk about a bit of experience. So I went downstairs, yesterday at around almost a quarter to 11, and by the time I get down there, it's already for the afternoon quota. So there are two kinds of quotas, so 700 each. 700 in the morning, I forgot what time they will distribute those quotas. Another 700 afternoon for the 2:30 p.m. So 2:30 p.m. some staff will come out and then they'll distribute the quota one by one. And by the time I get downstairs, I think I'm the 34th person there. So which is the top 2% of the quota. So it's not too bad. But you have to wait until like 2:30 p.m. So I waited for around 3-ish, almost like 4 hours by the time I get the quota, get inside, get tested, and then get the fuck out there. It's almost like 4 hours, and the weather, it's a pretty bad yesterday, and I mean like even today as well, rainy and even some windy as well. It's actually quite cool across the weekend and also the coming few days, slightly around 10 degrees Celsius, and the weather will keep on dropping. And then I talked to some other people who get tested. Some people they get because of for work, and then I told them, yeah, I need to get for travel purposes, but thankfully the result came pretty quickly, slightly more than 24 hours, which is shorter than 30 hours. As when I did the test, the staff told, oh, normally your test will come back in around 30 hours, and then once you receive the confirmation, you know, regardless of positive or negative, then you go back to the center to get for hard copy. Although they already sent the link, so I need to type in I need to click on the link, type in my ID number as the password to actually have access to the document. I think it's in PDF, but anyways, probably I'll get a hard copy downstairs tomorrow to show maybe electronically or paper copy a proof of a negative COVID-19 PCR test, which needs to be done again 3 days, not 72 hours, 3 days before the flight. So there's quite a big difference between 3 days and 72 hours. If 3 days, so my flight it's on 11:55 p.m. on February 22nd. So that means I can do the test if it's 3 days anytime on February 19th. But if it's 72 hours, which means 72 hours, it means February 19th, 11:55 p.m. the test center is already closed. So I have to do like today, February 20th, Sunday morning. But anyways, for Australia, before you board the flight, one way it's 3 days before the flight for PCR. Alternatively, in case you guys don't know, you can also do the rapid antigen test, but it must be medically supervised, and it needs to be done within 24 hours, not 1 day. It's 24 hours. I plan initially, if the COVID-19, the PCR test result took more than a couple of days to receive, I would have done the RAT, rapid antigen test. So RAT stands for rapid antigen test, as a alternative. But now I already got the COVID-19 PCR test. I did 3 days before, and now I got already the result back. So I do not need to do the RAT. Although both PCR test or RAT is also acceptable as a proof of testing negative to COVID-19 before you board any freaking flight to any freaking where in Australia. But COVID-19, if PCR, it must be 3 days before the flight, or RAT, it must be 24 hours before the flight. So PCR, no more than 3 days before. RAT, no more than 24 hours before. So that's basically my another experience of doing a COVID-19 test back in Hong Kong in the community center. If you remember, it's actually quite different to my experience when I did twice after finishing compulsory quarantine in mid-February, because there's no such an the so-called the fifth wave of outbreak here, COVID-19 outbreak here in Hong Kong. Back then, mid-December, not many demand for COVID-19 testing. So at that time, you don't even need to line for the daily quota. You don't even need to book. You just need to walk in, and then you say, I'll have to pay for $240, put in your ID, phone number to receive the test result. Job done. But now, because of the fifth wave of COVID-19, and then some more and more people need to get tested, so more demand. So now, now you even have to line up for daily quota. So for travel purposes, apart from your ID card, you need to also show your, for example, the Hong Kong SAR passport. So although I checked already, the test report didn't show my passport number, it's only shown my ID number. But as long as a proof of negative COVID-19, a PCR test, I did again, it must be, or I actually did within 3 days before, and now I received the COVID-19 test with negative result, which is good. I do not need to do the RAT. So hopefully this information you guys will find it helpful if you guys will travel to Australia in any time soon, because from tomorrow, February 21st, Australia will finally reopen its border to all other visa holders. Well, I'm student visa, as long as you are fully vaccinated as in 2 doses of vaccine. Although Australia domestically itself is considering to change the definition of fully vaccinated from 2 doses to 3 doses. If you guys remember, I already got my 3rd dose of vaccination, which is exactly 6 months after my 2nd dose of vaccination. My 2nd dose is July 10th last year, and I did already January 10th here in Hong Kong, also Pfizer. So to conclude, if you need to board the flight to Australia, one, you need to do obviously COVID-19 test. You have to be tested negative in order to board the flight. You can do the PCR test no more than 3 days before, or RAT, rapid antigen test, no more than 24 hours before, which is basically around the same day. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to this channel and follow my Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter so you won't miss out. Join me on my flight in 2 days' time, February 22nd, Tuesday, from Hong Kong to Sydney, Australia. See you there.